Hey guys, Justin Nelson here with the Icon Podcast with another great episode. We are on episode number 100 of the year so far, and I'm super excited to have another awesome guest. I was just telling her I love her background, love everything she's got going on. And with that being said, I'm going to let her introduce herself, but I'm super excited about this because she brings a different perspective than most. And I'm going to let her share her story. But we were also just talking about, prior to jumping on, she's also launching, so hold on to the end, a brand new course in real estate that I already am looking at signing up for myself and some of my team members. But I just want to say welcome to the show, another Icon agent. Thanks for being on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I'm Kaila Lindsey. I am out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So myself and my team, we service North Carolina, South Carolina, and I would say everywhere in between because we have EXP family everywhere, which is awesome. So my business, I am a team lead. And I have 5 agents, almost 6 under me, as well as 3 admin and 4 virtual assistants, doing anything from cold calling to texting. So we've definitely expanded our team and our reach, which is really exciting. But I'm stoked to be here and answer some of your questions and hopefully give somebody some knowledge.
I love it. I love it. So, Kaila, everybody that's listening in here today, one of the big things they're listening for is maybe you shared this with them because you're sharing a little bit about your Icon story and kind of how you got there. A lot of people listening may be like, what is the Icon Award? What does it mean? Obviously, it's much more than just financials in terms of culture and the different achievements that you have for you and your team. But before we kind of dive into that road, obviously, a lot of people watching this might be at EXP and they're interested in why you joined EXP and some different things like that. So ultimately, I'd love to just kind of start off like everybody joins EXP for a little bit of a different reason. Some people join it for the Icon program. Some people join it for its virtual side, or they're just joining a business partner. Like for you, like what was kind of your story of from where you were to getting over to EXP?
Great question. So previously I was with Keller Williams for 3 years. Wonderful, loved it. But I mean, I'm one of those people, I am not all about the money, but this is a business. There's a reason why I do this as a business and not something else. Yep. So when I was looking at my cash flow at the end of the year and going, where'd my $25,000 go? Mm-hmm. And there was nothing to show for it, that I had to really start thinking, well, what am I getting for that $25,000? Because anybody who is a real estate agent, whether you knew it or not, you are now a business owner. Except most people don't think that way. They think in transactional, and at the end of the year, whatever they have is whatever they have. You've got to think like a business owner. So when I'm looking at that investment, but I'm not getting a return on it, I had already surpassed the training that they offered for free, which meant I was still coming out of pocket for additional training. So I realized then and there I needed to make some kind of change. And it, as for most people who are already with EXP, it's usually when you already start thinking about that change is when it's like, here I am. And of course, everybody had heard about it. At the time that I had joined, it was going off like, crazy in the Charlotte market, especially. And because of that, you had people cold calling you, people like reaching out to you, and I'm going, no. Keller Williams said it's bad. So finally I did take a look, and for purely financial reasons, I made the switch. Before I made the switch, I did go out and I guess what event was it? It was Brent Gove. It was one of the summits. And I went out literally with 2 days notice. My buddy AJ was like, dude, you've got to fly out here. I said, cool, when? He goes, Tuesday. It was a Sunday night when I'm talking to him, by the way. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, is it worth it? He goes, it's a life-changing. I was like, that's a pretty big shoe to fill. You just put life-changing along with a trip to Vegas. Like what? I don't even like Vegas. Yep. So I said, you got to get out here. So I literally booked the flight the day I was leaving, and I didn't book the hotel until I was getting on the plane. Like literally didn't even book the hotel till I was getting on the plane. That's how much I wasn't going to go. And I'm very glad I did. Met some incredible people, and it gave me the sense of the culture that I was told didn't exist. Mm-hmm. So the money drew me in and made it logical. The culture made it the emotional impact. So, and I've never been happier.
I love that because I think so, we have so many different guests on this podcast. They all come over for a different reason. And I think what people are starting to realize is there is no right or wrong reason to join the company when it's a very specific business to what you have going on. Some people join for the virtual and the culture, and they don't even care about the finances. And some join just for the finances and, they have a little bit more of that business mindset. So I absolutely love that. Kind of along that line, like, you came over for finances and then you found the culture and some different things like that at events and different masterminds and groups and different things like that. Is there anything that you would say that you maybe were skeptical of, or maybe not even skeptical, but didn't know existed at EXP that you've fallen in love with outside of the finances, that you're like, man, I just wasn't told this enough, I didn't know this enough, but I absolutely love this part of EXP?
Honestly, I would say it's the access to higher level agents. Now, what I mean by that is I was with Keller Williams for 3 years. I was a top sales agent at my Keller Williams office. But with that, there weren't as many high level agents. Now, the problem with that was there was a silo of an office here, a silo of an office here, office here, office here, office here, and we don't interchange or act. Like, you might know each other, you might see each other at family reunion, you might chat, but there was no collaboration there. And in joining EXP, even after the first few months, I'm chit-chatting, which I'm going to shout out my people. I'm chit-chatting with Heidi Hines, who's giving me all of her secret sauce, as I guess you would call it, just hey, do this, focus on this. And I'm just oh my gosh, they're not even asking for it. They're just providing this information. David Upchurch gave me a call one day. Hey, put your money here instead of here in advertising. This is why. Log on here and I'll show you how to farm. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. The people that just kind of came out of the woodwork, Shelly Johnson, and then we had Karen Head, everybody just pouring information and everything into me. And I never had that elsewhere. Now, here's the thing. They weren't told they had to do that. They just inherently wanted to do that because they also saw that collaboration helped everybody, which is really cool. So, and it kind of attracts, and I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be that person, but there's always some jerks in every company. All right. Because I've had people I'm not going to join there because so-and-so works there. I'm well, I know plenty in your company that are pretty awful.
Absolutely.
You are a business owner. And this is what everybody keeps forgetting. You are a business owner. Every firm wants you because you make money for them. So it's your choice to go wherever you want, but no matter where you go, you're going to make money. It's just about what aligns best for your systems. What are your returns? What are you looking for? And then align with it. But you own your license and your LLC. You can go wherever the hell you want. So make the choice for you. And if you don't like it, leave. What's the worst thing that could possibly happen?
I love it. And I love it because I think a lot of people watching this, they have a negative connotation around leaving. And I think that at one time, a lot of us do get into that naive trap to think, oh, we're going to stay here forever. I was Keller Williams as well. And, what we realize is actually agents jump companies all the time. Sometimes higher producers, we do stay at a places longer. So it feels a little bit more unnatural to make that jump because we're comparing ourselves to maybe those producers or non-producers that jump 15, 20 times a year. Different companies. And so I absolutely love that you shared that. And so to kind of circle back around to your financials, some people listening that you might have shared it with them to talk a little bit more about the Icon Award. So for, people listening that have listened to this a lot, they know what the Icon Award is, but can you kind of share with us how you would explain to an agent that's considering joining you, considering partnering up with you, or just considering joining EXP in general? How do you explain to them what the Icon Award is? Because what we find is a lot of people are skeptical of it. They're like, man, how do you actually get all your money back? How does that work? And the reason why we do this Icon podcast is we want to highlight thousands of examples of the true story of it actually working and happening and how it works. So I would love for you to kind of speak to our audience, speak to me as hey, Jess, I'm about to explain to you what the Icon Award is and how I hit it in my market.
Yeah. So the simplest way that I like to explain the Icon Award, no matter what firm you're going to, you are paying in a certain amount of money. Otherwise, they don't want you there. That's how they make income. All right. So you're paying in a certain amount of money. What you're doing with that company is you are renting, right? We have this conversation with our clients all the time. Do you rent or do you own? Well, if you're paying every year and you don't get anything back monetarily, you are renting. So when I left Keller Williams, I paid $75,000 in rent. $75,000. And when I left, I got this much back. No investment, no stock options, no nothing. With EXP, what's happening is because of my production level is I am owning. Now that's twofold, right? So I say I'm owning because when I hit Icon level, I get my money back. It's like when you own, if you were going to sell, you get some money back and you go on to the next place, right? You're not just paying someone to be there, you get it back. You're putting it up front and you get it back. So with the Icon Award, you get your 12, this is $16,000. Just let's lay that out, $16,000. 12 of that you get back immediately in stock. And that does vest for 3 years. But guess what? What did you get at your other firm?
Zero.
So I do have the question sometimes, oh, it's got to vest for 3 years. I'm like, okay, like, so what? So what? If you leave, then you lost 16. It's still less than what you're paying the other guy. But if you stay, you've got money that's increasing in value. So the other 4,000 comes when you attend the EXP Con and the shareholder summit, which I was super bummed was canceled last year because it was going to be all of Epcot because we go all freaking out. And by the way, whoever has not signed up for a ticket for EXP Con, sign up. There is a badass party going on the last night. Aside from all the wonderful content, there's a badass party going on the last night. They're renting out an entire club. It's going to be bananas. So anyway,
I saw that yesterday. I was like, whoa, what? Like, say again?
Oh yeah, we were on the Icon call and David Kennord had told us that. I was like, what? I'm down. So I digress. So with that, you're getting these stock options. Now, obviously they've gone up in value over the years, which is wonderful because I got a bunch that I got for like $8 and then they were like 115. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so when it comes to Icon, you're getting extra reward. You still have a cap, right? But then you're getting the extra reward of getting it back. Now, where the question comes in of how does that work? Well, yeah, how do you get all of your money back and you still have revenue share that is being paid out? Here's the thing, follow the lines. So here's me, here's my sponsor, here's a sponsor on top of him and the sponsor on top of him. Now, here's what ends up happening. Not all of the people in this line, let's say we're talking about the person at the top. Let's say we're talking about Brent Gove because I'm under Brent, right? So let's say for some reason, the person that's under Brent didn't produce that year, right? They, in fact, they fell out completely. They're like, you know what? I don't want to be with EXP anymore.
Yep.
Well, in most models, or at least the model of Keller Williams with their profit share, is you all bump up in the line. We don't do that at EXP. Instead, at EXP, what happens is EXP takes that spot. So EXP is still profitable. All the money that was supposed to flow to that person now comes to EXP. The second thing to bear in mind is, let's say that person stayed under Brent, right? And my money is flowing up and I'm going to Icon. No worries, not a big deal. Because guess what? Some of the people in this line didn't Icon, which means they consistently paid in. But because EXP is filling a lot of slots, it's gonna be fine. Now here's the third reason why. Let's say that person under Brent, or let's say it's Brent, right? Let's say I've got like 4 people below me. Well, it has nothing to do with Brent, right? Or maybe I don't have enough first level agents to open up that 7th level or that first level for me. Yep. Guess what? It bypasses me and goes to where? EXP Realty. So whenever you have people even further in levels below you, but you can't access them yet, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't go to the person above you, it goes to EXP. So when we're talking about profitability here, they reward heavy, but they're also extremely profitable because of the way the model has been set up. So hopefully that at least gives a little bit of a visual there. I was trying to do visuals, but there wasn't anything holding my place there.
No, I love it because I think a lot of people, they're used to being at a brokerage too, where like sweetheart deals are cut and they don't ever know like, how does that top producer get a discount or how do they get paid some money? Or like, there's always these deals cut behind the doors and sometimes it can create animosity or it's hard to grow a business when you're like, well, what do I have to do? Do I have to shake this hand or that hand or play politics? Where at EXP, they're very clear about, we're going to reward our high producers for producing a lot of money. And here's the exact metrics that you have to hit. And so like in your market, I know it's different for all markets based on, number of transactions and when you hit your cap, but roughly in your market, what's your average price point and how many homes did you guys have to sell for you to Icon?
It's changed quite a bit. As of right now, it's moved more to like the 300, 350 range. So for me to Icon, it would be selling properties on top of your cap. So in order for me to get to cap, I think I sold about 8 properties. It's really bad. I don't even track capping anymore. But I think it was like 7 or 8 properties, I want to say maybe. And then it was 20 on top of that. So figure 28. Where, you know, my first like 4 years in real estate, I was selling anywhere between 29 and 40 homes. So even since year one, I would have been an icon agent. And once we grow from there, you know, at this point, my team is going to close 140 transactions this year. And I'll probably end up closing close to 75 of them. Last year I did, no, I'll probably close 85. Last year I did like 73. So our team is in that growth mode as well, which the cool thing about that, even being on a team, they get half cap. So instead of 16, they're paying 8. And once we become a mega team here soon, they'll go down to 4. So their cap will drastically decrease.
I love that. I love that. And just a real life example that even when you were in your first few years, you still would have icon. And so I think that it just shows that a lot of people, you know, it's not a goal that only 10-year agents can get to or 15-year agents can get to. You know, I think that our number yesterday after our 100 podcast this year, it's been 29.4 is the number. What everybody has suggested roughly.
Really?
Is what roughly is how many homes you have to sell. You know, obviously some markets are sell 2 homes to cap and then it's 20 after that. But 29.4 is what we're seeing as the average. So I loved how you put it to really make it reachable for any agent out there, whether it's their first, second, or third year.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is going to be achievable. The biggest thing is put your head down, do the work. I see it all the time, especially with newer agents. They get a little bit distraught, or maybe they have those first few weeks that are really, really good. And then after those first few weeks, it's like, it's not happening. Yeah. I'm like, dude, just strap in. You're doing the work. It's going to start to compound. And what I did was I actually laid it out for one of my agents the other day, even on my team. I said, look, here's what my first year looked like. I started in September, October, late October, I had my first closing. It was one of those like came out of nowhere. I got a buyer. I was like, oh my gosh, got them closed. But then it was November, December, January. Now, mind you, I was calling expireds for sale by owners. Think about it. If you're like 4 months in by yourself, I wasn't on a team. I was working from home, right? I'm doing this thing. I don't even know if it's working, but I'm talking to a lot of people. You know, you're starting to get things lined up and it's like, call me next week, call me next week, call me next week, maybe sometime. But what happened was I hit January and I got my second listing. I had already had a listing, but let's face it, guys, don't count it till it closes. So I got my second listing, and then before you knew it, boom, boom, boom. So if you looked at that first like 5 or 6 months, it would have been like, like you're not going to do too well. And I told myself when I got my previous salary, going all in, balls to the walls, if I don't hit it, I'm out. And that was just, it was, you know, I really need to give this a fair and honest go at it, not a try, an honest go at it. So what I ended up doing, so it was September, October, November, December, January. Finally, February, I had my next closing. February, y'all, 6 months. Now, in looking at that, what would you think that next 6 to 7 months is going to look like? Pretty freaking bleak, right? Well, guess what? Most agents, they're giving up here. Mm-hmm. They're giving up in month 2 going, this doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Calls don't work. The script doesn't work. Yes, it does. Just keep going, keep building the momentum. Well, that year I did 29 transactions. Wow. So it's very much doable, absolutely doable. So that would be my suggestion for anybody. Keep pushing forward because you can make it. And it's not as hard as you're making it out to be. Stop complicating it. Like seriously, stop complicating it. It's not that bad.
I love that. I love that. And you really, I think, just gave a lot of motivation to people that are trying to get to that icon level. And yet at the same time, I know that you help a lot of people that are already at that icon level and much further as well. So I know I kind of mentioned before we jumped on today, I learned about your course, you know, that you're about to launch and some things like that. And I would love for you to talk to our audience about 2 things. Number one, about the course, kind of why you created it, what it's about, and obviously how they can find out more information when it launches. And number 2, I would love for you to talk to the business owner, because I know a lot of people that may be attracted to you and joining you at EXP are higher producers that are ready to give back. They're ready to maybe start their own coaching program or be able to give back at a greater level. I know many people know my story. When I was at KW, I spent 2 years on the road, 200 market centers a year teaching. And when I started my real estate coaching company, a lot of times I got pushback from corporate, from their coaching division. And, you know, I couldn't really start my own thing without a lot of grief. And I love that EXP has allowed a lot of us, people like you and I that want to give back, to start our own platforms. I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about how EXP has allowed you to do that with very little and honestly zero pushback from anybody on it. So I'd love to kind of get your thought on that as well.
I'll put it in a nutshell. One of my favorite things about EXP is they stay out of my business. Literally, they give me the platform and the ability to do what I desire to do, to become an excellent agent, to give back, to interact with other agents in other regions and other territories and states, etc. And yet they say, you do you. As long as you're not breaking any real estate rules, we want you to be successful. We want you to have opportunity. And that's been the biggest thing for me. Is I was the same way with KW. I felt like I was constantly getting pushback. I remember I walked in one day and said, I want to sell this commercial listing. And they said, you're not allowed to. I said, there's no special license for it. Of course I can do that. They said, well, the broker in charge isn't a commercial broker. I'm like, cool, then who do I need to get aligned with? And basically told them I would leave the office if they wouldn't let me do it, because there was nothing barring me legally from doing it. And guess what? They figured it out. Magic. So, and no hate on KW, it's just that they can be a little sticklery owner. Okay. So my coaching platform that I'm opening, and if it breaks up, I apologize. I'm having some low internet, so you just let me know. So the coaching platform that I'm opening, it's called Masters in Real Estate, kind of a play on words. We were chatting about this earlier, kind of a play on words. You're getting your master's in real estate, but you're also mastering the game of real estate. And one thing I learned when I first got into real estate was no one really showed me all the steps and how they connect. You know, you might talk about prospecting over here, a buyer appointment over here, a listing appointment over here. The challenge was there wasn't a lot of education on, okay, what do you do once you have those things, right? So, okay, I got the listing, now what? Oh, I have to get photos. Oh, okay, oh, I have to get that. So it was kind of, you'd start doing something, you backpedal and go, oh, I don't know how to do this. And what I've noticed, even from running a team, it's something that holds my agents back, is not knowing all the processes and the next steps. And I see that in myself as well. I'm always the person that I want to know. Like, I might not be ready for that step yet, but I want to know what it is. I don't need to master it yet. I just want to know what it is, so I can see to the other side and know how to get there. So it goes from everything from onboarding into real estate, what kind of systems you should use, to your, and this is all, by the way, in the first program. It's a 10-week program. It's called Onboarding to Real Estate. So whether you're on a team or not on a team, I think it's a great starting point. We use it internally on our team to onboard our agents. And that's why I decided to go ahead and put it externally, because it's been so helpful. So we do everything from teaching you prospecting and different styles of prospecting, not just cold calls. We'll talk about actually listing a property from like literally getting the yes to the appointment all the way through to getting it closed. Then we'll also talk the same way about the buyer process. I'll go into mindset. We'll talk about finances. And we're also going to talk about hosting different workshops and things like that. So I'm beginning to build out other more pointed programs. So if you want to learn how to host an excellent buyer workshop, how to do that, how you can do it both virtually or in person, and have that be exceptionally profitable, as well as great closing gifts. I mean, really anything that you'd want to know. But this is my launch pad, is how to get started. And I don't care what firm you're with, you don't have to be with EXP. All of this applies. So if your broker keeps telling you can't have an LLC because it's bullshit. Like, you can, it's legal. It's just about the way in which the money flows through. There are the loopholes. By the way, loopholes are not a bad thing. They're written into all code, and it's only there for those who know that it's there. So just because someone doesn't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So I'm going to guide people through that so they can not only avoid taxes, but also have a profitable real estate business that they feel in control of and can start quickly leveraging.
I love that. And for you guys, I know you're still putting some finishing touches on it for the public. So I'll make sure to include a link for everybody watching and listening in here below all the videos, and we'll run it across the screen as well. But I just wanted to first off say thank you for jumping on here today. For people listening here that they want to reconnect with you, they're looking at joining your EXP organization, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Yeah.
I know you're probably pretty busy.
Oh, you're fine. So I love text. I'm a text person. I will tell you right now, I'm terrible at Instagram Messenger. I'm sorry. I'm that old person, and I'm not even that old, but I'm that old person that loves Facebook. So you can follow me on Insta. I do have someone who's helping me now to catch up with my messages, but you can find me at Kaila Lindsey Realtor. You can also find our coaching platform, that page you can request to enter. It is Masters in Real Estate, and you can find the website if you guys want to sign up to get preliminary access. We should be launching in the next few weeks, and that is mastersinrealestatecoaching.com. So follow me there, and you can always text me 704-559-9169.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you coming on so much. If you guys are listening to this, you want to know more about the Icon, please reach out to either of us. We're more than happy to walk you through it. But Kaila, I know you got agents all across the country following your coaching and mentorship. And I know for me personally, I've loved getting to chat with you. You're a no bullshit type of person. You get right to the point, and I absolutely love that. And I just appreciate you taking a quick 20-25 minutes out of your busy day to share with all those in EXP already and all of those that are eventually going to be over here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anybody that wants to reach out or wants extra help or anything, give me a shout. I would love to help.
Absolutely. And with that being said, guys, we are ending the Icon podcast today. Until the next episode, where everybody will eventually be over at EXP for one reason or another, we thank you guys.